Okay.
Oh, I mean chemical impulses.
It's going to convert photo energy, photons, into nerve impulses. Remember, we talked about this. Do you see with your eye or do you see with your brain?
Brain.
You see with your brain, because the eye does what?
Conduction.
Converts photons or light waves to
Impulses.
nerve impulses. Okay? Now, once again, when you cut open this eye, okay, we're cutting it like this, right? There's going to be, that retina is a very, very thin, kind of a light tan membrane. Okay? So don't overlook it, okay, because it's pretty fragile when we cut that. Now we talked, when we were talking about neurons, what type of neurons are in the retina? Yeah, but what type? Multipolar, unipolar? No, they're bipolar. And they're made up of rods and cones. Okay? Rods do what?
Black and white.
Allow you to see black and white. Cones allow you to see color. Okay? Now, coming out of the eye, back here is, what's this? Optic nerve. Okay? Now, back here is the sharpest, where most of the bipolar, there's more bipolar neurons, rods and cones, where most of them are right there. What do we call that area that's right there? The fovea, and around it is the macula. Okay? What do you see in older folks? Macular degeneration. Where they start doing what? What happens in macular degeneration? Yeah, they start, because they lose this area right here. They still have peripheral vision, because for the most part, you can see this, but the fine stuff, okay, they start to lose. Okay, now, if this is the lens, okay, in front of the lens you have the anterior chamber. In the back of the lens you have the posterior chamber, or the vitreous chamber. Okay, so we're going to recognize two chambers. The anterior chamber, that's in front of the lens. The posterior or vitreous chamber, that's posterior to the lens or behind. In the anterior chamber, we find aqueous humor. What does aqueous humor mean? Aqueous meaning watery humor. Okay. When we open up, you're not going to see that aqueous humor. As soon as we open up and take this lens out, it's gone. You're not going to see it. Okay. Back here is the vitreous humor. And the vitreous humor is a gel. Okay? And is responsible for maintaining intraocular pressure. So you're going to be able to see that vitreous chamber that's back there. Okay? Now, if we okay, so in the eye, there's two general types of muscles. Intrinsic muscles, which are smooth muscles. What were the two intrinsic muscles? Iris and ciliary. The extrinsic muscles are the muscles that are on the outside of the eye. Okay, now if you notice, there's 6 of them. Okay. This guy that's up here. Now, when we do the cow eye, I'm not going to ask you to identify the muscles on the cow eye. You need to know those muscles, but you're not going to be able to identify them, per se, okay, because they're a mess, okay? The other thing is I'm not going to ask you to identify the right or left eye, because I don't think you're going to be able to tell. But at any rate, this is the superior rectus. This guy that's back here is the inferior rectus. Okay, remember that rectus means what? as
Up
the
and
fibers run.
Up and down.
Up and down. What does the superior and inferior rectus allow you to do?
Can you move your, look up and down?
Eyes up and down. Okay, and they're antagonistic muscle pairs. If the superior rectus contracts, the inferior rectus has to relax. If the inferior rectus contracts, the superior rectus has to relax. So they move your eyes up and down. Just for the sake of argument, let's say that this is the right eye. Okay? So this is the lateral rectus. This guy that's back here is the medial rectus. Okay, what does the lateral and medial rectus allow you to do?
Side to side.
Now, keep in mind that this is different. They're antagonistic muscle pairs. But if you look to the right, okay, the lateral rectus in the right eye is the primary mover. The medial rectus in the left eye is the primary mover. Right? If you look to the left, the lateral rectus of the left eye and the medial rectus of the right eye work together. Okay, so they're antagonistic muscle pairs, but they're different. Okay? They kind of have what we call a cross extensor that works there. All right. And then finally, this muscle up here is the superior oblique. This one down here is the inferior oblique. And what do they allow for?
Rotation.
Allow you to roll your eyes. Okay, so you've got 6 extrinsic muscles. Superior and inferior rectus.